everybody means making it a priority. You gave $16 trillion to 7 investment banks. How come you can't give $1.5 trillion to every precious child in America? So we're right at the center of that debate in Chicago. All I said about Brother Ram was that he's just mistreating the teachers. That's all. I could have said something.
And the host said, Dr. West, will you repeat that? Did you just say? And he went in again. He doubled down on it. So I'm sure Ram's going to call us tonight since we both know him. But Dr. West is right about everything he just said, of course. My real problem is, and I've done a lot of work on this on our PBS program and on the network with some primetime specials, I'm so over teachers being demonized. It's all about demonizing and blaming teachers for everything. And teachers aren't perfect, but I'm just tired of that kind of bastardization of teachers, as it were. We're down here.
Okay, taking that further, first of all, Karen Lewis a couple years ago was just a regular teacher in the classroom. I'm tired of people who've never paid the cost to be in the trenches with children, determining what should be done and providing the leadership. Our Secretary of Education did not go through regular schools. He was in his mother's institute, and then he got to be the CEO of Chicago schools. Well, there's something you learn when you work with children when you're with them every day. And I can tell you, for everybody that's not a good teacher, there are people who are good teachers who get smacked around because they do the right thing. And I'd like to say just to parents, if you're here, students that are going to school now, every single person needs to go to the Ohio Department of Education, find out what the standards used to be, what the standards are going to be, understand children right now, in order to get the race to the top money, are doing dual curriculum, or you're not going to get the money. You're doing old standards because you're going to be tested on those in 2013. You're working on introducing the new standards, because if you don't, you won't get the money because they have to be introduced this year. And those kids are going to start to be tested on the new standards 2014. In the meantime, people are steadily saying teachers aren't doing their work.
I thank you. Back up top. Back up.
And we should know, Finland leads the world in education of young people. 97% of their teachers and principals are unionized. But they have a culture of accountability, cooperation, and they got 3% of their population living in poverty. America is #1 in education when it comes to the precious children of the rich. Because the schools they go to are like the schools in Finland, small classes, investors, highlighting their abilities and so forth and so on. Introduce poverty in America, then we drop down to 23. So it's still poverty is a variable, but we can learn much from Finland.
In the book, The Rich and the Rest of Us, there's a whole segment, whole section in the book about the link of expounding what Dr. just said. We write a whole chapter in the book about the link between poverty and education in this country. So it's a very real issue that we take on in this book, The Rich and the Rest of Us. Back up top. No, did I just go up top? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hi, and I'm glad that you're here. Mr. Smiley, I saw you on Jennifer Granholm's program last night.
Yeah, what did you think of that conversation?
I love her, and I like you.
Whoa!
I say that with love. Because I think, let me make this statement.
I want to hear this because I got to follow.
Well,
Go ahead.
Let me introduce myself, because that's what I wanted to do. My name is Sandra Lewis. I'm in the 4th quarter of my life. I've had 3 occupations. I am presently a sophomore here at Community College, and I'm in the Conflict Resolution Peace Studies program.
All right.
I think it should be required in every school system in this nation. With that said, Mr. Smiley, you irritate me. But it's a good irritation.
All right, I'm just...
But the reason I say that is because when I hear you talk, you're mean, but you're supposed to be mean. But it makes me feel helpless. Even though intellectually I know I'm not helpless. Then I listen to Professor West, and he lifts me within my spirit.
All right.
And I know that's what you intended to do. But I was one of the few women and mothers who drug her 4-year-old, now 21, sitting up there, to the Million Man March in a stroller. I've never seen that many peaceful black men holding up $1 in my life, and never will again, I'm certain.
Yeah.
My son had to be there to witness that.
All right.
With that said, give us a toolbox. Don't just tell us that we should be angry. Don't just tell us that we should push the president, because that's my man, okay? You should run for president, okay? And I'm serious. Let's work with him, yes. Let's push him, yes, but make me more hopeful when you speak. And I think that's what Governor Granholm was trying to impress upon you. You put fear in her heart because you made her believe that perhaps the edge that you carry would deter people from supporting President Obama. She has that fear. I don't have that fear, but that's what I witnessed last night. So I'm just asking you, take it a step further. I'm in this program, contact us through this program here, Peace Studies and Conflict Resolution, and maybe we can start a group here, and we can start community organizing, because that's what you're talking about.
Let me just say, first of all, I accept your comment, and the reason why I hang out with Dr. West is maybe he can work that meanness that you referred to out of me. I'm glad my mama had left the room before you grabbed the microphone. If you think I'm mean, let George hear what you just said about her son. And you be caught on Jesus before God gets the news. So I have to hang around Dr. West more often to get that. I think that's number one. Number two, I'm so glad that most folk don't feel the way you feel, because I couldn't have survived in the media for 20 years on TV and radio if folk thought I was mean every day. Let me finish. See, now you're being rude. I didn't interrupt you one time. Now I'm mean and you're rude. We should hang out together. So let me finish my. Let me finish my. Well, why don't you sit down then? There you go. You sit down and let me finish my point. I'm just trying to be respectful. Everybody in the room saw when you spoke, I did not interrupt you.
All right.
But then you want to accuse me of being mean, and now you're yelling over me and not let me finish my point. But I'm the mean one. The only point I'm trying to make here is I think oftentimes, so again, if people felt the way you feel, then I wouldn't have survived for 20 years in the business, number one. But number two, I think oftentimes, but I want to address this honestly, because I accept I'm not afraid of critique. I shut up, I listen, and hear what they have to say, and I don't interrupt. I take a big boy pill every morning for stuff just like this. I don't know what's going to happen later in the day, even when I'm on the road trying to defend poor people. But here's the point. I think so often that what people confuse as meanness is a righteous indignation. A righteous indignation about what's happening to poor people all across this country. And especially and particularly my own people. And so the older I get, I don't cop to the meanness. I will absolutely cop to getting angry and having deeper and greater angst and hating to see black people and others live beneath their privilege. I cop to that. So if what you see coming out of me feels like meanness to you, I apologize to you for that. That is not what it's all about. That's why I hang around with the most loving guy in the world that I know. So you keep praying for me that more of him will rub off on me. But understand where it comes from. I want to see the American people give the same respect to poor people that they give to bankers. So you pray with me, all right? I appreciate it. All right, back down for me.
Okay.
How you doing? First of all,
All right.
it's an honor and a privilege to be able to be in the same room.
But
with,
she has a point.
guys like
Has a
yourselves.
good point.
We know that anger and frustration and indignation can be the impetus or the driving force behind change, but it's never a substitute for a plan. And so, you know, I hear a lot of politicians and a lot of social activists expound on this disparity between the rich and the rest of us, the rich and the poor. But no one really has a plan on how to, because we know the government has a mechanism to extract the wealth from the wealthy, and that's taxation. But even if the government were to get that wealth, what is a practical way to redistribute that wealth?
And the answer to that is this book. That's why the book is called The Rich and the Rest of Us. And in the book, because it is a poverty manifesto, again, I said at the top of my talk tonight, the doc and I do not, I repeat what I said earlier, we do not have a monopoly on the truth. We are not all wise, we don't have all the answers. But this book is our attempt to lay out in detail, get the book, it's very easy to read, lay out in detail a 10-point plan. 10 different things that we think can reduce and eradicate poverty, cut it in half in 10 years, alleviate it, eradicate it in 25 years. It's laid out in a detailed plan in this book. So there are some suggestions out there.
Well, how about just three suggestions that I'd like you to take a moment to expound on?
It's man-made.
We can either expand the welfare program.
No, that's not our primary motive. We talked about employment. We didn't talk about programs.
Okay, so we can have government subsidized employment.
Doesn't have to be subsidized. It can actually be government connected to private sector, but private sector having certain conditions under which they gain access to their profits if their workers also participate in access to those profits.
Okay, so then we have an expansion of the SBA program.
You said what?
An expansion of the SBA program.
No, this is a program you know not of, and I know not of at the moment. We're talking about imagination.
Okay.
You can't just think in the old terms. You can't just think in the old terms. But I mean, when we talk, for example, in the book, look at Chile. Chile had a 48% poverty rate and went down to 12% in 11 years. We can learn something from Chile, right?
Yeah.
The United States had a poverty rate of 24% in 1959. In 1968, it was 11%.